Hey fam, my name is Michael and this is the Planet Eye. In today's video, we're going to be doing some plant chores. We have some plant consolidation of some seedlings, some repots, as well as creating some decorative, decor-friendly moss poles. So you can sit back and chill or do some of your chores with me. Either way, let's make it do what it do. All right, fam. So the first ones that we're going to do a consolidated repot of is my Syngonium Willandii. This is, you guys probably remember, these are two of the ones that I got for my birthday, part of my birthday haul. So what I want to do is basically put them in a nice little pot so they can grow together. I'm going to go ahead and use this pot, and yeah, so let's go and make it do what it do. First thing I typically do, for those, I know most of you guys are probably old pros at free potting plants, so we're not going to really go into a lot of detail, but I do use these what do they call these? Little mesh pads. I was going to say mesh pieces. Mesh pads to go to the bottom of my pot, typically to cover the drainage hole, and that way it doesn't. That way, no excess dirt or whatever comes out of it. I've seen people use like pieces of a paper towel, like if you to do the double ply towel, and you split it in half, so it's one ply. Take a piece of that and put that at the bottom. I've also seen people use coffee filters. So it's I'm going to basically use a all right. So to keep it simple, I'm going to use, okay, so to keep it simple, I'm going to use my standard aeroid mix and a little bit of tree fern fiber. I actually got some of this the other day from Amazon. It's a little expensive in the United States right now, probably like, this is 4 quarts, supposedly. That's 4 quarts, and it cost me like $35. So that may be cheaper other places, maybe more expensive other places, but for me, I'm like, yeah, we're just going to do this sparingly. I'm going to be using this tree fern fiber and a lot of my plants that require more moisture, and take it from there. But otherwise, I typically just go with my standard mix. So I'm going to use a little bit of that, mix a little bit of that in there. Put this down here for right now. And we're going to go ahead and go with some mosquito bits. Mix that in at the bottom, because we are not trying to have a lot of critters this spring. And so let me go ahead and move this out. I've actually, there are a couple of genuses, varieties, what have you, that I wanted to get back into, or get a little deeper into this spring. One of them has been the Syngoniums. I've always liked Syngoniums. I've always thought that they were cool. I've just recently gotten into some of the more non-standard variety, like the chia pens and some of the other ones that I didn't know existed until recently. But it's a cool plant, very low maintenance. For those of you who don't know much about them, they're fairly low maintenance, and they require little to. They're fast growers too. So at least some of the ones that I've had before. I've heard that the Willandii and the Rayi are pretty slow growing. If that's true, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are if you've grown before. What I'm trying to do, I typically keep as much of the bulb as possible, and just kind of plot it up. I actually saw that on a tip from Sheffield's Plants, where he talked about, just creating a mold inside your larger bulb, and putting that in the plant. So this one is actually a little bit larger than the first one. So what I need to do, we'll see what I can do to kind of put this in here. Get the massage a little bit more, get some of this dirt out. But yeah, what he said was basically, just take the plant from the old pot and stick it in the new pot, and then fill dirt around. And basically, you would take this nursery pot, put it in your new pot, and then go to create a mold, and then slide the other one in there. So since this one is a little bit, it's not going to be that much bigger than the bigger pot, bigger of the two pots that I have. I'm not going to do that. I am going to do my standard, which is get some mycorrhizal fungi. I use TPS billions right now, but you can use whatever floats your boat, man. It is all gravy, as the kids say, or they used to say when I was younger. Anyway, right. So make sure I got it placed the way I want to have it placed. This one is obviously a younger one than the other one, but it should look good. We're going to take this. So I'm really kind of getting ready. Really getting excited. I've been excited about the spring. Actually, more excited this year than anything else, because last year, I think I told you guys, I had life was life, and was kind of beating me up a little bit. So I've kind of fell off on my plant hobby. Just trying to focus on other things. And then when I came back up to breed, a lot of my collection was gone, in terms of just they died out or whatever because of lack of care. So last year was more of a building year and getting things back on track. And then this year, so that being said, a lot of the plants that probably would have been their second, there are a couple of plants I still left, and they're going into the second year, and it's going to be interesting to see if they actually begin to fly this year. Because, I think I was watching, I think guy was Philly Foliage. He mentioned that, plants typically, in his experience, plants typically will crawl their first year or something like that. And then they start to run their second year. And, then they fly after that. So I've kind of found that to be the case. So, it'd be interesting to see exactly how much some of these new plants that I have, what they actually do this upcoming year. So I'm excited for spring for that reason. And I'm also excited because, it's just great. I mean, longer hour, a longer light, warmer. I think I told you before, I like warmth. That is my thing. But yeah, so that being said, that's a couple of reasons why I'm excited about spring. So let me know what you guys think about this. Is this something that you guys have worked with before? If not, if so, what's been your experience? If not, is this something that you thought about getting on your list of things to get? Just let me know. Hey fam, this is Editing Mike. Unfortunately, I lost some of my footage, so we're going to go ahead and move on to making the moss pole. Hopefully you're enjoying everything so far. If you do, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment and all those good things, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, guys, so we are back, and I think we're prepped up. I think we have everything that we need. Basically some scissors, the PVC pipe, and what have you. So I started drilling the other one upstairs, so I just wanted to go ahead and do this one here so you guys can have an understanding of what I'm doing. Essentially what I've done is I have cut this PVC pipe down to about 2 feet. I usually do it in 2 feet. If you get a 10-foot a half-inch PVC pipe, that'll give you 5 poles potentially, and you could do it as an extension or something else. So what I do, and then the next thing I do is I basically put an end cap at the bottom, and that's of course to keep the water in. And then I will always put, because nothing stays small forever, put a coupler, a half-inch coupler up top, and that will allow me to have, whenever I get ready to extend, I can just slide the new pole, the extension pole in there, and boom, there you go. So today we're going to do the Monstera obliqua that I got from Root Greenhouse. It has not grown a lot since I think I got like 1 or 2 leaves since I got it, but I got this long runner. So we're just going to allow it to do what it needs to do. And we're going to go ahead and pot this. We'll go ahead and put this on a pole because it's basically been sitting there it's sitting without a pole for a few months. So I want to make sure that it gets a chance to grow as much as possible. I got a rack of items, of plants that I need to put on poles this month. So you'll definitely be seeing more pole fixations over the next few months. So like I told you guys before, what I did was I actually had some old chicken wire, and I have a project that I have no idea what I had it for, but it's been sitting there for a while. So I basically took that and I had some extra spray paint, so I didn't have to buy it. But if you have to buy the chicken wire and the spray paint, it's not that much. I think spray paint nowadays, which is kind of ridiculous, but it is, inflation is what inflation is. It's about between $4 to $6 for Krylon. I've used Krylon for aquarium projects, and I've used it for other items that where its toxicity we need to make sure that it wasn't toxic. And after it dries for, I would say, give it a couple of days, 3 or 4 days, and to allow it to dry like it needs to dry, and it should be good to go. So for the sake of this exercise, and actually, I like the color. I spray painted one purple, and I spray painted one blue. I also spray painted one black and brown as well, but you'll probably see that in another thing. So essentially, what's going to happen is that we're going to drill holes in this, and then we're going to secure it in here, and it will sit like this. I think I need to lower this a little bit, so hold up a second. Okay, so I'm going to lower this a little bit, because what I wanted to do is I wanted to sit inside of this, and including the coupler, and it's not going to do that without it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch off of this one. This is a PVC cutter. It's not that bad. I think you can get it off Amazon for maybe like $12, something like that. I actually started an affiliate store with Amazon, so I will put these things in the Amazon store so that you can, if you decide to get some, you can go to my affiliate store and, hey, give me a commission. I'm good with commissions. But so I'm going to put that in there. Let's do a dry fit, see if it actually fits inside. If it does not, yeah, we're going to have to cut it a little bit more. This should actually do it, definitely. Hopefully. All right, there we go. Yep, that works. Okay, so this will be deep enough in it so that it won't, so you won't be able to see it, basically. And what happens is typically once we do both of them, once we do it, if you need, whenever you need to extend, you just put the second one inside like this, and oops, and you have I was testing out the pipe, so a little water popped out. Put that in there. But once you need to extend, you can just plop it on top of the coupler, put in a couple of zip ties, and you're good to go. So let's start by, I'm going to make sure this is tight. So we're going to do a couple of holes. I have just a battery operated drill. This is a 1/16 bit. So 1/16, and I've seen people do it at 30 seconds of a bit, 30 seconds bit. I would say try and get the smallest bit that you can. Start it on the battery. If you're doing a battery drill bit, start at the slowest bit possible, get some suction. There you go. So that's that. You can also get some small, like sandpaper if you want to smooth it out. But what you're going to do is you're going to go like every 3 to 5 inches. And then that way, oh, dang nabbit. I messed up. Okay. So technically what I was supposed to do, so this is why you have extra PVC pipe. So what technically, also what I did was I measured where I wanted the line to start. So so when you find the pot that you want to use, you want to take it down to here, and you don't want to drill below that line, and that way it'll only water up top and it won't water in the soil. So give me a second, let me cut another piece of pipe, and we'll be right back. All right, guys. So I just finished cutting a new piece, but that's okay because this gives me an opportunity to give you an example of what I mean by measuring the inside of making sure that you create a line so that you don't go below on the pipe. So what I'm going to do first is put this on real tight. Some people also use, you can put it on, do a dry fit, which is basically not using any type of adhesive. Some people also use Gorilla Glue as an option. So that's something that you can do as well. If you do use Gorilla Glue, I would definitely recommend waiting for it. It will become inert after a while, or any type of super glue. But you want to do that probably want to wait at least about a day or two before you proceed with the project. And I haven't heard anything negative about doing that you had to wait, but I always like to err on the side of caution to make sure that it really gets an opportunity to dry and with no issues. So this time we're going to start with above the line, and like I said, we want to do every about 3 inches, about 2 to 3 inches. I'll probably do like one about a little bit of like an inch from the top, and that'll give you, if you do decide to use a coupler, I'll do it about an inch from the top. That way, if you decide to do a coupler, you have more than enough space, and there won't be a hole underneath the coupler. Not like that's going to do anything, but why, if you can't use it, why have it? All right, I'm going to water test this real quick, and we'll start going to the next step. All right, guys. So now we're going to move to the next step. The next step is we're going to go ahead and put this on top, and basically the next step is getting some sphagnum moss and putting this puppy together. So we're going to start with sphagnum moss. We want to kind of like making a taco. Oh, another thing you want to do is you want to, wherever you don't want the sphagnum moss to start below the soil line. So wherever that is, that's where you're going to start it, because you don't need it there, and you can put dirt there, and you can save some money. That's the bottom line. There's no magic formula for that, except sphagnum moss is expensive, so why put it in the dirt? If you don't need to. So, but we'll put that part in when we get ready to pot this thing up. So the first thing we're doing is doing this. Give it a little space to be nestled in there. You do want to make sure that when you put your wire, when you get your, you do want to make sure that when you start using your zip ties, that you give yourself enough space. You give yourself enough give yourself enough wiggle room to be able to do it, and so it's not too full, but it's full enough. So we're going to show you two views. I'm probably going to do a little B-roll so that you can, from above, so that you can see what it looks like when I'm doing this. We'll do that with the next one, and you'll probably see it up here while I'm doing this one. So we want to make sure it's nice and full. We do want to make sure that the chicken wire is even on both sides. And now you're going to use some zip ties to tie it together. Now, personally, basically what you want to do is make sure that you wrap it up tight enough where one side can slightly overlap the other. So you just pick which side that's going to be, and that's going to be your dominant side. And that's a good thing about having chicken wire is that you can mold it a lot better than, let's say, plastic. So we're going to do this. I usually go 2 squares down on the chicken wire, and then that way you can get it really nice and tight. But when you first do it, you don't want to tighten it all the way up, because you want to give yourself some wiggle room to make some adjustments if you need to. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I do it at the top. I do it when the first run of ties. Basically, I do one at the top, one at the bottom. So when I say top, I mean one in the middle, one at the top, and then one at the bottom, and that's where your chicken wire, where the sphagnum moss ends, and then we'll do the rest of it. But once we secure that, so we'll again go about 2 squares down, take it over to the other side, make sure it's nice and even. And again, do a nice loose connection. That's for right now. And now do the top. Same deal. You just want to make sure that the wire is, see, this is actually not as even as I wanted it to be, and now I'm paying for it. So let's see if I can make some adjustments on the fly. So that's it. You may want to do the top and the bottom first and do the middle. Let me do this real quick. Let me cut this out. There we go. All right, because my top one was not even at the top. So I want to make sure that I have enough, that it's even enough to be able, so it won't be lopsided. Basically, that's an aesthetic thing. You can actually have it and be uneven if you want to. That is up to you. It is your pole. Do what you want to do. All right. So we're gonna do this. Now we got that secured. Now, last time I did this, I was able to do the center, which I usually like doing in the first place, but without having all this drama. But obviously, now that I'm filming it, they want to act up. It's all right. It's all right. I see you. Okay, so we're going to do the middle now. And again, you probably want to go 2 squares down. Let's give yourself enough room. And don't need to tighten it up all the way right now. So now we're going to go, what I like to do is midpoint. So I'll do a midpoint in between these two, and then I'll put one in between these two. And then when I get that, now I'll do a midpoint. I'll put a zip tie between the remaining, between each of the remaining midpoints. Okay, so this is this. Okay, so that's that one. It's starting to get a little hard to find where the kind of go in other places. So we are going to, but again, the biggest thing is you want to make sure that if you're doing the first one on the first side, you want to make sure you get the first one on the second side. If you're doing the second one on the, up to the second one on the other side, same thing. You just want to make sure that you are doing it how you need to do it. So let's, if I do it this side, I also want to do it on the same side. So I'm just kind of feeding that out. And is that even a midpoint? I'm pretty sure it is. So we're going to do that. Nope. It's like sewing. It's like sewing, man. Gotta get the right point. Here we go. All right, so got that one. Yeah, make sure that we're going to be doing some transitions and some other things to speed this process up. This should technically take you about half an hour. I mean, once you have everything set up in terms of like, say, if you decide to use glue versus just doing a dry fit, then you're going to need to give it a couple of days. You need to also get a couple of days to for the painting or whatever. So I would just prep one weekend, then do it the next. So that'll be the easiest way, in my opinion, to do it. So do that. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to do this here. But do it that way. But if you do it that way, to assemble everything, it's probably about like maybe 30 minutes, and half of that is basically fishing through this little point right here to make sure you get everything in play. And you do it the right way. Took me a minute to realize the zip ties went in a certain direction, like the little nub things at the top. So we're going to put one here. So our next step is going to be potting up our plant, repotting the plant. So give me a second to transition. All right, so we're going to use this pot for this one. I chose it because it, purple and white kind of complements each other. Definitely make sure that you take down the, press down the sharp parts here. We got it. We got this looking good. I'm excited about the way it looks. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take some soil. And we're going to put the soil around here if we can. I'm just going to do it by hand. Matter of fact, let me do it in here. We're going to put the soil in here. It's real chunky, so soil in there and nice and tight. And you just put it on the part that's actually going to be at the bottom. Obviously the part that's going to be inside the pot is where you put the soil, because you're not going to need that for a sphagnum moss, what have you. So we do that, get that going, and we're going to get which one? We're going to use it. We're going to use the what's this thing called? The chia pens. Or do I want to use the other one? Choices. No, I'm going to use I think that's kind of a funky color. So we're going to use the Obliqua Peru. So this is actually going to give me a good opportunity to actually see the roots, because I haven't looked at the roots since I got it. So it'll be real interesting to see how much has developed over the last several months. Okay, not bad. Definitely more than what it was, but could be more. But hopefully it will definitely start growing over the fall. Spring. So here is, actually they're really good. They look really good. So we're going to, oh wow, yeah, they really grew. So what we're going to do is we're going to recycle the dirt that I already have, and we're going to put some mycorrhizal fungi here, get it nice and tight. And actually what I want to do is I want it to be right on get this out of here. I want it to be right on the rest on the pole. I want to kind of pack it down in there so that the pole can be a little bit more stable. And this will be good to make sure that it's nice and secure, so it won't lean as much. If I used a orchid pot or a nursery pot, I would drill a hole on the side. But since I'm not doing that this time, we're just going to do it this way. All right. So next, we're going to do the mycorrhizal fungi. Put a little bit in here and put a little bit on here. We do it that way. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and put the rest of the soil in, our soil mix, our soil medium. This is actually, for those who haven't seen my other video on what I use in my soil, I basically use cocoa coir chips, vermiculite, charcoal, horticultural charcoal, perlite, of course. And and then sometimes I use some worm castings to add a little supplemental organic fertilizer. I still fertilize my plants with each watering, so that's just a supplement. And then what else we do? Okay, so we're going to trying to figure out the best way to do this. So yeah, we just do it this way and then try and get it as close to the pole as possible. But yeah, so I combine those things, and that's my soil meter. And actually, with some of the more fragile ones, I've actually started using tree fern fiber because it is also moisture retentive, just like vermiculite and the cocoa wire. So it gives me an opportunity to, that's an extra insurance, because I may have said this earlier, because of the fact that tree fern fiber is expensive, at least in my part of the United States. We don't use that on everything. We use that typically on seedlings, anything that doesn't require a whole lot of soil. So next step is going to be to use some Velcro tape to secure this to the pole. So I'm going to just try to see if that was long enough, and it was not. The thing about Velcro tape is that you can always reuse it or repurpose the scrap for another project. So that is this one. I put one here. You put it here. Let's see if we can. We're going to do with this. I'm just going to put this down here. Don't want it to go too far. I want to see what it does, because I've never seen. I've seen other people talk about these runners. I don't know if they actually do anything or go anywhere, but it's fun to see. So if it doesn't, or if it acts crazy, I can always do something else with it. But it looks like another leaf is trying to grow out of that one. So we'll see. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is try and secure a couple of these. Secure these leaves to the pole itself. I do it in one foul swoop, so I don't have to have multiple lines of tape. All right. So there we have it. This is my first one. It's a decorative moss pole. And it's purple and white. I'll shoot some B-roll so you can actually see it, because I know from here you probably can't see that it's actually purple. Hopefully we can secure it a little bit more. Yeah, trying to secure it a little bit more, but that's basically it. All right, fam. So that concludes today's video. If you enjoyed it, please smash the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Love for you to be a part of the community. Until the next time, happy planting.